Welcome to CBS Sports HQ. It's the eve of a couple of things, Major League Baseball, but it's also the eve of the Sweet 16. And it's the first time every team is from a power conference. And while there are no Cinderellas, there are plenty of blockbuster matchups. 4 games on Thursday, 4 more on Friday. Only one coach right now is coaching a team where he won a national championship, despite all this power, and it's Michigan State's Tom Izzo. No other coach has won a national championship with the team they're coaching right now. Let's start with the very first game of the week. It's Thursday night. It's on CBS. And this might be the most explosive game of the tournament. BYU and Alabama, two of the best offensive teams in the country, both averaging over 85 points per game in the tournament. The betting total is 175.5. Might be the first one to 90 to win that game. How about two teams that are lucky to be here? Maryland needed a buzzer beater against Colorado State. Florida needed a late comeback against the then two-time defending champion UConn Huskies. Redemption on the minds of Duke fans as they face Caleb Love in Arizona. Love helped end Coach K's career a couple of years ago, handed him a loss in his final home game and a loss in his final game period in the Final Four when he played for North Carolina. Final game on Thursday features the only team seeded higher than 6. It's the 10th seeded Arkansas Razorbacks against Texas Tech. The Hogs have pulled off back-to-back upsets for Coach Cal. They beat Bill Self in Kansas, Rick Pitino in St. John's. Texas Tech has beaten 2 double-digit seeds. Friday will begin with Ole Miss facing Michigan State. Mentioned that Izzo, the only coach coaching his current team where he's won a national championship, and the Spartans have won 10 straight games in the tournament against SEC opponents. How about the third meeting of the season between Kentucky and Tennessee? The Vols favored in this game despite losing both regular season games to Kentucky, a matchup of 2 and 3 seeds. The tournament's #1 overall seed still looking to regain their form from the first 3 months of the season as Auburn faces Michigan. The Tigers have struggled at points in each of their first 2 games. Janai Broome, who averaged 18 a game in the regular season, only averaging 11 a game in the postseason in the NCAA Tournament. Purdue and Houston, the last game of the Sweet 16, a de facto home game for the Boilermakers. They get to play in their home state of Indiana. This game is in Indianapolis against the top seed there in the Midwest region, the Houston Cougars. All right, let's take a look at the list that B.J. Taylor put together entering the tournament. B.J. Taylor, former UCF great, ranking the top 10, and then some honorable mentions. And Bennett Sturts really showed out for Drake, and now on the move with his head coach, Ben McCullum, to Iowa. But having to rearrange things a little bit, ranking his top 5 players from the Sweet 16 because a lot of those guys are gone, like John Tonje at Wisconsin, who was knocked out by BYU. All right, let's get BJ in here, and let's start with Michigan's Vlad Golden, who is your #5 ranked player and a guy that college basketball fans are familiar with because he was on that ride with his head coach Dusty May at FAU a couple of years ago to the Final Four.
Absolutely. Vlad Golden has been a centerpiece for the Michigan Wolverines and their 5-game win streak going into the Big Ten tournament. They obviously were able to capture a Big Ten Conference Tournament championship, and it's been led by Vlad Golden in the front court. 23 points, 12 rebounds in their win in the round of 32 against Texas A&M. This is a guy in a day and age where you see perimeter being the focus, you see three-point shooting being the focus, you see guys wanting to spread the floor, even the big guys shooting threes. Vlad Golden is an old-school big. He gets it done an old-fashioned way, and he also has a tremendous running mate in the front court with him in Danny Wolf, who's not bad in his own right. If Michigan wants to pull an upset over the Auburn Tigers, the #1 overall seed in this tournament, they're going to need those two to be big. Trey Donaldson at the point guard position to play well, but Vlad Golden is going to have to win his matchup against Janai Broome, something we have not seen a lot of this season.
Interesting note there at the bottom of the screen that you might have saw. First Michigan player with 20-plus points, 10-plus rebounds, 3-plus blocks in a tournament game since Chris Webber in the infamous too many timeouts game for against North Carolina in the title game back in '93. Your #4 ranked player is the one who gave us the buzzer beater in the first weekend of the tournament. It's Derek Queen for Maryland, who said, "I want the MFing ball." He got it and put it in.
Two amazing quotes. He said, "I want the MFing ball" at the end of the game, and they asked him, they said, "Derek, where does that confidence come from to make those kind of plays late in the game?" He said, "I'm from Baltimore." Greatest quote I heard all weekend. But outside of just giving us great quotes, he's also a terrific player on the floor. If you have not seen the Maryland Terrapins play all season, they have a top 5 pick in this year's upcoming draft in their 6'10" freshman. He is the most talented big left in this tournament. When you look at his ability to dominate inside, he has a terrific touch around the rim, as well as he showed on that game winner. He can also put the ball on the deck, get to the rim, and finish at the cup. The leader of a tremendous starting 5 that the Terrapins possess. But going up in this matchup against Florida, they are not the better team, as we know. But sometimes you need the best player on the floor to be the best player, and that can sometimes propel you over even the better team.
He has 5 20-10 games this season. That's more than anybody freshman-wise in the country, even more than Cooper Flagg, who I'm sure is coming up on this list in just a second. At number 3, it's a guy that you, I believe, have moved down, and it's Auburn's Johni Broome, who doesn't look 100% right now.
Yeah, he hasn't looked 100% in about the past month, right? And it just seems like this Auburn team hasn't been 100% as a group. They've shown flashes of the team that they were through the first 3.5 months of the season, but over the last month just have not looked the same. But I'm still going to go with Johni Broome at 3rd because of his production throughout the totality of the season, all right? Whenever you're able to put up nearly 20 points per game, add in 11 rebounds, and toss in a couple blocks, all right, and be the SEC Player of the Year in a year where the SEC, some consider to be the best basketball conference that we've ever seen, you've got to continue to put him in that top 3 players list. And Auburn has done what they need to do to get to this point, all right? They made it to the Sweet 16. They still haven't played their best basketball yet. Tahad Pettiford played well in their last game, as well as Chad Baker-Mazara. Those guys are coming along with Johni Broome. I still have him at number 3 because I think he'll play big in the biggest moments.
And that game is Friday against Vlad Golden's Michigan team. Should be a great matchup there. How about Florida? We mentioned Derek Queen. They're taking on the Maryland Terrapins, and you have Walter Clayton Jr. here as your number 2 ranked player remaining in the Sweet 16. And, man, they needed him late against UConn.
I mean, he's been absolutely sensational, Chris. What Walter Clayton Jr. has been able to do has been nothing short of remarkable. I mean, the run that he's been on since about the last 2 weeks of the regular season, carried that into SEC tournament play, and now into the NCAA tournament with those 2 big threes he made against the UConn Huskies to really put that game away. There isn't a player in college basketball that's playing better than this guy is right now. He has full control of the game. He gets his shot off when he wants, and you see these difficult looks that he takes. He makes these kind of shots on the regular. At this time of year, you want to make a run, you want to push into the Final Four, you need big shot takers, you need big shot makers. Walter Clayton Jr. is that guy.
13 points in the final 8 minutes of that comeback win against UConn. I feel like Florida was the sexy pick by a lot of people going into the tournament because of how well they were playing. But Duke has been the favorite when it started. Duke is still the favorite right now, and Cooper Flagg is your number 1 ranked player.
And this is not because of his NBA potential, all right? Cooper Flagg is my number 1 player in college basketball. If you were drafting a college basketball team and saying, look, this is the guy you want to start your team with, not just because he has potential to be a great player, but because he is already a tremendously productive player. When you talk about a guy for the Duke Blue Devils that leads them in every major statistical category, points, rebounds, blocks, assists, steals, he probably leads them in high fives, all right? He leads them in everything. This guy has been absolutely sensational. He is not only their most productive player on the floor, he is their competitive leader. He is the heart and soul of how they approach each and every day in practice. You can tell when he is on the floor, when he gets going, he is the guy they lean on for motivation. He is the guy they lean on to get them going. So as good as he is and as good as he's going to be in the NBA, he has been just as good at the college level. Cooper Flagg is my number 1 player right now in college basketball.
And if not for reclassifying, he'd be getting ready for his senior high school prom right now.
Those high schoolers be getting tormented right now.
Unbelievable.
He saved a lot of high schoolers from a lot of bad nights of sleep, all right?
B.J. Taylor with his top 5 players remaining in the Sweet 16, which gets going on Thursday and Friday. You can watch every game live on the March Madness Live app. CBS will have 2 games on Thursday and 2 on Friday as well. But again, all of those games, even the games on CBS, will be right there on the March Madness Live app.